Jasmine Fiore was born on February 18, 1981. Her parents divorced when she was 8, and she was raised by her mother, Lisa Lepore, in Bonnie Doon, California. As a child, Jasmine loved playing football and took her first job at a local grocery store. In her adult life, Jasmine became a swimsuit model and worked events in Las Vegas. She also appeared in various commercials and sometimes modeled in body paint at entertainment events. She later began dating Canadian real estate investor Ryan Jenkins, who had appeared as a contestant on the VH1 reality show Megan Wants a Millionaire. The two reportedly met shortly after he was eliminated from the show. On August 13, 2009, Jasmine and Ryan attended a charity poker tournament in Del Mar, California. That same night, security footage shows them checking into a hotel around 2:30 a.m. On August 14th, they were seen at a nightclub. That would be the last confirmed sighting of Jasmine. The next morning, a suitcase was found in a Buena Park dumpster. Authorities discovered human remains inside. Due to certain injuries, identification was not immediate. It's been confirmed her teeth and fingers had been dismembered. However, Jasmine was eventually identified using medical implant records. She was just 28 years old. Ryan reported Jasmine missing later that night at 8 p.m. On August 16th, he left their shared penthouse and traveled to Nevada, where he picked up his boat. On August 20th, Jenkins was officially charged in connection with Jasmine's death. A manhunt was underway, but just 3 days later, on August 23rd, he was found deceased in a Canadian motel room. Digital evidence on his computer supported investigators' suspicions. Though no trial took place, this case is considered solved. Jasmine's story remains one of the most haunting and cautionary in the world of reality television and true crime. Tyler J. Hadley was born on December 16, 1993. He lived in Port St. Lucie, Florida. During his teenage years, Tyler began skipping school and using illegal substances. Tyler had participated in drug use, sales, and purchases and had been criminally detained for arson, vandalism, thefts, aggravated battery, and then murder. There was also a $15,000 civil suit pending after Tyler had hit and injured a child while driving his father's car in June 2010. Prior to the parricides, he had been enrolled in an outpatient drug treatment program which proved to be unsuccessful as he continued to use drugs. Knowing he would soon turn 18 and desperate to get him help, his parents had recently found an inpatient treatment program for him. When Tyler discovered this news, he was bound to make sure he didn't have to go. On July 16, 2011, Tyler took 3 pills of ecstasy and then stood behind his mother, Mary Jo, as she worked on her computer in the family room. He attacked his mother with the back end of a claw hammer first. Hearing the screams, his father, Blake, rushed out of the bedroom to see what was happening. Blake saw Tyler attacking his mother and froze at the sight. Tyler then began attacking his father with the same hammer. After murdering them, he dragged their bodies into the master bedroom and spent 3 hours cleaning up the blood and throwing household items that reminded him of them on top of their bodies. Later that night, Tyler took to Facebook and posted a status stating, "Party at my crib tonight." He funded the party with his dead parents' credit cards. Around 60 people attended the party that night, and several are alleged to have noticed the smell of dead bodies. During the party, Tyler apparently told several people about what he had done. Tyler went on a short walk with a friend, Michael Mandel, and confessed the crime. After returning to the party, Mandel discovered the bodies of Blake and Mary Jo in the master bedroom. Mandel did not leave the party immediately. He continued to spend hours with Tyler and even took a selfie with him. For hours later, Mandel left the party and called a local crime hotline to report the murders. Tyler was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and a life sentencing with the possibility of review after 25 years have been served. In April 2015, the Hadley house was demolished and sadly, this case has been solved. Rachel Morin, a 37-year-old mother of 5 from Bel Air, Maryland, went missing on August 5, 2023, during an evening jog on the Ma and Pa Heritage Trail. Her body was found the following day, on August 6, about 150 feet off the trail in a drainage culvert. Investigators described a bloody trail leading to her remains, and she was found nude and beaten. Forensic pathology revealed Morin suffered multiple severe injuries. She was beaten with rocks and strangled, with her final heart rate data capturing the time frame of the attack, spiking at 7:07 p.m. then rapidly dropping within minutes. The DNA left on Rachel's body was later linked to Victor Martinez Hernandez, a 23-year-old Salvadoran national, whose DNA also connected him to a home invasion in Los Angeles and another murder in El Salvador. Martinez Hernandez's phone also became key evidence. It contained searches such as Bel Air, Rachel, and even a screenshot of a news article about the case. A nationwide manhunt led to his arrest on June 14, 2024, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was charged with first-degree murder, first-degree rape, third-degree sex offense, and kidnapping. On April 14, 2025, Martinez Hernandez was convicted in under an hour on all counts. Since the maximum penalty for first-degree premeditated murder is life without the possibility of parole, state law requires Martinez Hernandez to be subject to a pre-sentencing investigation, so the state can learn of his upbringing, mental health issues, prior offenses, and other background information to consider to his sentencing. As of now, this case has been solved. Shannon Graves, a 28-year-old woman from Ohio, was known for her bright personality and adventurous spirit. In late 2016, her loved ones began to grow concerned when she stopped showing up to important family events and wasn't returning messages. However, as months passed, her family started to realize no one had actually spoken with Shannon in quite some time. At first, her then-boyfriend, Arturo Novoa, told people she had moved out to start a new life with a new man. But those closest to her knew something felt off. Novoa quickly became suspect number 1. On July 30, 2017, a terrifying emergency call was made by a man named Ken Eschenbaugh. In the call, he states, "Me and my wife just found a dead body in our freezer. I think it's a female." Ken stated that a friend had asked to store his freezer at their residence. The friend stated his power was out and he didn't want his meat to spoil. Ken's wife had gone down to the freezer to borrow meat to make meatballs, which is how the body was discovered. Sadly, the body was Shannon Graves, and her head was missing. When police asked who had dropped off the freezer, Ken told them it was a man named Anthony Gonzalez. However, that name was just an alias. His true identity was Arturo Novoa. Police searched his apartment that he shared with his new girlfriend, Katrina Layton. She had moved in with Arturo 2 weeks after Shannon was seen alive. She'd been driving Shannon's car, using her phone, and even caring for her dog. Investigators found blood on the walls and the owner's manual to the freezer where Shannon's remains were found. Arturo Novoa and Katrina Layton were arrested and charged with abuse of a corpse. Layton was also charged with obstructing justice. Detectives later discovered that Novoa had contacted his friend Steve, asking to have a bonfire at his home, so he and his friend Andrew Herman could burn some of Shannon's things. Novoa told Steve that Shannon had been cheating on him, and he was upset. In the fire pit, cops found valuable evidence, including Shannon's bracelet. Herman was arrested for tampering with evidence and abuse of a corpse. He said Novoa had invited him over, and to his shock had shown him Shannon's body. Novoa had bludgeoned her to death with a hammer. In May 2019, after pleading guilty to 47 charges related to the murder of Shannon Graves, Arturo Novoa was sentenced to 48 years to life in prison. Katrina Layton pleaded guilty to tampering with evidence, obstruction of justice, and abuse of a corpse. She was sentenced to 18 years in jail. Andrew Herman pleaded guilty to abuse of a corpse, engaging in a pattern of corrupt activity, and an unrelated drug trafficking charge, receiving a 12-year sentence. This case is truly gut-wrenching and sadly, this has been solved. Jason Corbett lived in Limerick, Ireland, with his first wife, Margaret Fitzpatrick, and their 2 children, Jack and Sarah. In November 2006, a few months after their daughter was born, Margaret died unexpectedly after suffering an asthma attack. The loss was, of course, devastating and overwhelming, leading to Corbett hiring 24-year-old Knoxville, Tennessee native, Molly Martins, to work as an au pair for the family in 2008. Shortly after, the two began dating and relocated to Lexington, North Carolina in April 2011. Corbett and Martins later married. They purchased a house for nearly $490,000. Jason also gave Molly $80,000 to buy furnishings for it, as well as buying her a BMW SUV. He had also previously given his father-in-law $49,000 as a contribution toward his wedding ceremony. Although Corbett's family had initially approved of Martins becoming romantically involved with Jason, they became increasingly concerned about Martins' deceitful and erratic behavior during their relationship. Corbett's sister, Tracy Lynch, later said that Martins had a long history of lying, describing her as a fantasist who claimed to have been an Olympic swimmer, a qualified Montessori teacher, and to have previously fostered a child. Lynch also said Martins had informed her she was bipolar and had allegedly experienced several miscarriages before she met Jason. Lynch also alleged that she discovered just before their wedding that Martins had told her friends that she had been pen pals with Jason's first wife, Margaret, before she died. In fact, the two had not interacted before she died. Martins also allegedly lied to her new neighbors, stating that Sarah was her biological daughter, even going so far as to give a lengthy description of how difficult her labor had been, whilst at a local Bible study group. Another example was her holding the face of then 7-year-old Jack under a running kitchen faucet as punishment for splashing her with water, and an incident where Jack was punished for not calling her mom. On August 2, 2015, Thomas Martins, Molly's father, called 911 at 3 a.m. to inform them that his son-in-law, Jason, was badly injured. Martins told the dispatcher he had intervened in a fight between Corbett and his daughter and may have killed him. Police responders who arrived at the house found Corbett unresponsive with serious head injuries that later proved fatal. Both Thomas and Molly gave statements to the officers at the scene linking Jason's death to a domestic disturbance. A few hours after being released from police custody, Molly Martins allegedly spent $5,500 on having her house industrially cleaned of all traces of blood. Tom Martins claimed he had been staying at the Corbett house when he was awakened by the sound of a disturbance in the master bedroom. He grabbed a baseball bat and rushed to the bedroom, where he alleged he saw Corbett strangling Molly in their dark bedroom. On January 5, 2016, Molly and Thomas were charged with second-degree murder and voluntary manslaughter in relation to Corbett's death, after unsealed indictments revealed that a grand jury had determined probable cause had been established. On August 9, 2017, after less than 4 hours of jury deliberations, 67-year-old Thomas Martins and his 33-year-old daughter, Molly Corbett Martins, were unanimously found guilty of the second-degree murder of Jason Corbett. Both were sentenced to a minimum of 20 years and a maximum of 25 years in prison. On October 30, 2023, Molly Martins Corbett and Thomas Martins both accepted plea bargains at the Davison County Superior Court to charges of Class D manslaughter. On June 6, 2024, Molly Martins Corbett and Thomas Martins were released from prison after completing their sentences for the voluntary manslaughter of Jason Corbett. Both were subjected to 1 year of post-release supervision, which was reported to be served in Tennessee. Sadly, this case has been solved.